Welcome to our course, Jump into Microsoft Teams. My name is Sarah, a training specialist here at Microsoft, and in this session, you'll learn how to accomplish the fundamental activities in Teams. After today's session, you'll be able to set up your profile and notifications, send an instant message in chat, share and collaborate on a file, schedule and attend a meeting or call, and align your work group or project. So let's get started. As we jump into Microsoft Teams, I want to remind you that Teams is customizable. What you see in your version may look a little different from my screen here, but that's okay. We're focusing on the fundamentals of Teams across versions and industries. But as a side note, I do encourage you to reach out to your internal support to learn more about governance and best practices specific to your organization. So when you jump in, you get started with Microsoft Teams. It's all about communication and collaboration. And so that we can track relevant posts, let's review our notification options. So the top right, you have your profile badge. This may look like your initials or your picture. Click your profile badge, and here's where you can update your profile picture or your online status or your settings. And we're going to just jump in here and manage our notification preferences. From your notification preferences, you may want to set up things like email to track missed activities, especially if you're brand new to Teams and you're still getting used to that cadence of checking Teams. You can set up your email to give you updates maybe once a day or as soon as possible, and you can even turn that off. You can also manage the audio alerts. Maybe you want to play sound for notification. And then with the different types of conversations, your teams and channels, your chats and your meetings, you can customize the global preferences for you using Teams. Let's go ahead and check out chat options. So for example, when someone is mentioning you, they're mentioning your name, they're trying to get your attention, maybe they have an action item for you, you can set up a banner. Now, a banner is kind of a pop-up. It shows on the bottom right corner of your screen, or if you are in a Mac, it shows up in the top right corner, but it's giving you a message preview. So you can set that up, or you can turn that off and have just the feed. The feed would be within inside of Teams, these red circles that give you alerts. Now you can continue, click on back to settings if you want to do more customization. When you're finished, just close the settings box and all your changes are managed. At any time, you can go back to your profile and you can update your settings. In fact, it's probably a good idea to do maybe a settings audit every now and then, just to make sure that you're getting the information that you want. Now, while you're inside of Teams, you're going to notice red circles. So over here on the left-hand side, we're going to see some red circles. That's letting you know that there is information that's new to you. You might also notice some items are bold, like the exec sync conversation. That also tells you that you have information that is unread. Now, in your activity, in the top left, you can click activity, and you can access the most current notifications and alerts. The most current are at the top, and it reads down. And at any time, you can actually jump to a conversation just by clicking one of these items. You can jump in, and you can even see if it's where you've been mentioned. You'll see that the mention sign or the @ symbol, or if it's a different type of reaction, or maybe there's different types of conversations. You can also filter this conversation. Maybe you want to focus on who's trying to get my attention right now. What are my action items, or what have I not yet read? Let's focus on that. At any time, you can click on chat over in the far left-hand side, and that will reset your view, reset it right back to your chat view. Now, Teams makes it really easy to chat with your colleagues. You can connect with people inside or outside your network. When you're inside of the chat view, you click the chat icon. It opens up this left pane here. And the very top of the pane, you'll have an option, looks like a pencil instead of a box. This is how you can start a brand new chat conversation. And here's where you can type in the name of somebody. Maybe it's someone within your organization like Miriam. And you can start a one-on-one conversation with Miriam. If you want to start a group chat, just start adding in more names. So here's Grady. And if you wanted to bring in somebody outside of your network, maybe you have a client, a vendor, maybe there's a candidate you're interviewing, you can actually just add people by their email address. Just bring in that person's email address in, and that's how you can connect with guests or external users. And then down below, you'll have this text box called a compose box. And here's where you can type your message and send it out. You can use that new message button at the top to start a brand new conversation or to jump into an existing conversation. So I have one here with Alex, and I can jump into an existing conversation with Alex, just typing in the message, thanks for the update. After you've typed in a message, you can press enter or click the paper airplane icon to send out that message, and Alex will get it. He'll have the access to that. Right below the compose box, take a look at all these extra tools, these tools that help you extend your message. Maybe you want to add an attachment or some graphics. There's also different types of apps. And whenever you see an ellipsis, ... it means click me. It means more options. And these are ways that you can, again, extend your message. And depending on how Teams has been configured and set up on your version, you'll have different types of options there that you can explore. And again, at any time, you can jump back into a conversation. So over on the left-hand side, you're going to see the recent conversations that you have access to, and you can simply resume that conversation, pick up right where you left off. This is called persistent chat. It means that you can connect with people even if they happen to be offline. It means you can pick up right where you left off. It means that you can search your conversations. It makes Teams a lot more robust communication and collaboration tool. Now, another thing that you can do while you're working in Teams is you can add files. You can click the paperclip icon here and you can attach a file. Now, files that are shared to a conversation, they are actually stored in the cloud. Chat-based files live in OneDrive for Business, and Teams and Channels-based files, these are our Teams and Channels over here, they're going to be stored in SharePoint or perhaps a third-party cloud storage. But for Microsoft Teams, you have direct access to those files. So you can click a file that may be visible in this conversation, and it takes you into the file, actually the source where it's stored, and you can work on it, you can view it or even edit it right here from Teams. Now you and your colleagues can work on it together real time. This is called co-authoring. Or you could make updates now, and then your colleagues could pick up when it's at their convenience. Maybe right now they're in a meeting, for example, or they're offline, or they're in a different time zone. So make your changes together or take turns. Either way, you have access to this version history of the file. Now, if you want to close the file, return back to your conversation view. At the top right, you'll notice an option to close. You can also just use the left tools, the very far left rail, and just click your chat. And that, again, resumes your view. It resets your view back to your default of what you're looking at. Now, chat is great for rapid fire messaging, instant messaging. But what about if you need to extend the conversation? Maybe you want to review something and you want to talk about it, right? Well, directly from within your Teams chat window, you can initiate a call. You can schedule a meeting that lands in Outlook and Teams calendar. And in both scenarios, you have options to share video and audio. You can share your screen and other applications. So if you wanted to initiate a call, on the top right corner, you're going to have some tools, and you can go straight to an audio call, or an audio video call. And from both places, you can turn your devices on or off as needed. You can share your screen, you can record, you can set up notes, all kinds of great options in there. Or down below, you can use the calendar icon. So right below that text box, that compose box, click the calendar icon to schedule a meeting. And this meeting that you're scheduling is going to invite everybody by default in your team or in that chat that you've set up. And you send that out, and that's going to send out the invites to everybody as well. Now, right from Teams, you can join these meetings. So you might notice a calendar icon. That calendar allows you to jump into a meeting. This calendar is also synced up with Outlook. So you could, right from Teams, you could click on an item as it gets close by and join or jump into that calendar here. I'm going to go back to our chat. You also might notice some purple circles with the calendar icon. These are these are meeting conversations, meeting history. So for example, our communications team has set up a weekly sync. And now we have a historical record of that weekly sync, and we can jump right in, return back to it as needed. Let's go ahead and join. We'll just jump right into this space. Here's where you can update your video and audio on the fly. And then once you're inside the meeting space, you have options to collaborate. You can share. You'll have options to open up your conversation so you can continue chatting. You have the ellipsis, which means more options. The 3 dots here means more options, so you can record or use notes. And there are also other tools to help you stay engaged, like the raising hand, as well as the participants. If you're using video, FYI, these ellipses is going to give you more options for managing the video, what your video looks like, and also what video you're seeing from the participants who happen to also be in this meeting. We'll go ahead and we'll finish up. We'll click the hang up button here, and that'll remove us from the meeting, take us right back to our conversation. All right, I'm going to jump over to Teams and Channels, clicking the Teams icon on the far left-hand side. So meetings, calls, and chats, they're great for connecting with people in the moment. But what about those long-term projects or those ongoing operations? Within Microsoft Teams, you can set up robust virtual workspaces for you and your team, and they're called Teams and Channels. A team is a collection of people, content, tools. It's designed to facilitate a group of people that work closely together to help them get things done. It gives everybody visibility, and it can bring together different work streams under one umbrella. So everybody has visibility of what's going on, but also giving you an opportunity to focus on your specific areas within that larger umbrella. So we have some real world examples here. One example is our product rollout. This would be a great example of a project team. All the project stakeholders, they have access to this. And then we have channels that are nested below, like the general channel, the kudos, fun stuff, project tracking, promotional planning. And we can jump to these different channels to access that conversation and to work on it together. Maybe you want to set up a team called Building Alerts. And I'll just go ahead and expand that, click the triangle. This would be a great way to get the word out for weather notifications, emergency preparedness. Maybe you have some safety training protocols. Hey, who's my safety captain? This team also has a private channel. Notice how Access Codes has a padlock. So a private channel would not be available to everybody in the team. It's to a subset. For example, maybe the building managers, the facility managers, they need to have the alarm codes for the buildings. Maybe you want to have a team for your HR resources. So here's a great place to store information about onboarding, about different benefits, reviews, teams training, all in one spot. People have easy access. Here's a team called Dev and Test. If we expand that, I think I clicked the wrong button. Let me try that one more time. Devin Test. This would be a great team for an ongoing process. And we can bring together everybody under one roof. They all have access to focus on particular areas within that process. Maybe you're the business analyst and you are interviewing customers, finding out what are they looking for. Maybe you are engineering or you're a quality assurance specialist and you're doing testing. Maybe you are in marketing or training or change management, and you're putting this out into the voice of the customer, getting the word out, letting people know what's going on. And maybe you're the project manager, the project lead who is needing to track all of this information. So this is a virtual space that keeps everybody in the loop. But then the channels, and as you expand and collapse, you'll see these different channels. Those are the subtopics within a team. These channels are dedicated sections to help us with the conversation, the content. They help you manage, and you can focus them or set them up any way that works best for you. Now, when you first join a Teams, Microsoft Teams, you might already be integrated into some teams and channels. Your manager may have set you up in some, or HR or IT, but you can also, down below, you can join or create a team. So let's click on this. This takes us into a gallery. The first option to create a team is a permission-based feature. You're going to need to have permission within your organization to set up a team, but it's a wizard. It walks you through that process. And then the other options would be teams that are already available that you could join. And they may be public teams, like here's a SharePoint users group, and a public team, you can add yourself to it. Oh, yeah, I want to be part of that team. Or they might be private teams. The owner is managing those. And maybe you're going to submit a code or you're going to request access to your manager or to IT to say, hey, I'd like to be added into this private team. Once you are added into a team, you're going to have options where you can add channels and members, and you can leave the team. So there's lots of different ways that you can manage the team itself. I'm going to go ahead and expand one of these teams again. All of these channels in here too as well. Keep in mind that a team can have a couple hundred channels. Maybe you don't need access to all of them. You can always select or click on the ellipsis next to a channel, and you can hide channels that are not as important to you or pin channels that are more important to you. Let's go ahead and click on back to where we started here. Within any channel, you're going to have the conversations. You'll also have other tabs across the top that'll help you engage in this conversation. So you might have files. Again, these are all files that live in the cloud, in this case in SharePoint, or possibly a third-party cloud storage provider. And then you can add in other apps, tools, and files that you want to work on with your colleagues across the top. That plus sign helps you add in these items. And these could be Microsoft products and Microsoft Office files, or they can actually be third-party tools as well. Now, one last piece as we're wrapping up, I want to jump into the help section. So in the very bottom left corner, there's an option for help. And here's where you can see lots of features. We'll go straight to topics. This is going to take you to a landing page. It's a great place to explore. Maybe something catches your attention and you want to go deeper and learn more about planning a meeting, for example, or help basics. You can also type in a keyword. So we started with notifications. Let's just type in that word. And it's going to give you more help topics on specific options. The best way to learn Teams is to use Teams. And I highly encourage you to jump in and just start exploring. In fact, let me give you a couple go-to options in here. One would be to review your profile and settings today. One would be to send out some chats this week or in the upcoming week, maybe share a graphic or a file, collaborate on a file, add one in or work on one that someone has shared, make your next meeting a Microsoft Teams meeting, and then also engage your work group, utilize Teams and channels, see what's out there for you available. So thank you for viewing our training, and we hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.